It's gonna be a fine day today. I can see. It's gonna be a fine day today. I can see. Gonna be a fine day today for you and me. It's gonna be a fine day today. Just wait and see. Blue skies everywhere. Believe you me. It's gonna be a fine day today for you and me. Oh, now baby, I know I've done you wrong. I only meant trouble for so long. But baby, all that crazy is on the bus. And today it's gonna be a good day for us. Oh. Whoa. Now, baby, I know I done you wrong. I only meant trouble for so long. But baby, all that crazy is on the bus. And the day it's gonna be a fine day for us. 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 Now, baby, I swear today will be a fine day for us. Oh, I said, baby, I swear today will be a fine day for us. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nate Manahan, and I'm here in Indianapolis, Indiana, where it's finally a good day. You know why it's a good day? Because we've fought off some sickness, we've had some times of scheduling, and we're back to making sure that office hours is part of your weekly viewing pleasure. And on the left-hand side of the screen from Glenwood Springs, Colorado, living the first day of fall. How are you, Jenny Rickle?
Doing fantastic. I love fall here in Colorado. The leaves are just changing like crazy. The weather has finally calmed down a little bit, so it's not so hot outside and it's a little bit cold in the morning. And it really just makes me so happy, ready to go, ready for the season change. It's a great time here in Colorado.
It is a great time, and it's not just because Deion Sanders has brought football back to life in your state. It is because it is a great time to
I
have
mean,
incredible
it
things.
helps. It helps us here in
It-
Colorado for sure.
Let's be honest. I saw the picture of the economic impact. I forget what the number was, but it was huge that he was
Oh,
having,
yeah.
in Boulder, but just in Colorado as a general. There's be people coming in just to be around Deion Sanders. And if you don't know who Deion Sanders is, I hope you enjoyed that place under your rock. Mike Stetzel, how are you, sir? How are things at the center of the screen up there in Warsaw, Indiana? Big game for your Notre Dame Irish, Fighting Irish against Ohio State this weekend, since I already brought college football up. How are you,
first
sir?
big
And
test.
it'll be the one time as a Michigan fan I stand in solidarity with you, as I hope you beat
Yes.
that team from that terrible place in Columbus. How are you, sir?
Good. Ready to go. As you said, we fought through some difficulty here with parts of the crew here, but we're ready to go and back fresh now this week.
All right, and it's time to bring us back for the first time in 2 weeks. It's time for our tip of the week. And the tip of the week this week is Mr. Mike Stetzel. I could have got the camera on you, but I had to use the music. Mike Stetzel, what is our tip of the week?
That's great. When you hold the camera a little bit, I maybe know not to talk, and I let that music do its transitional job. So the tip of the week is to use the POS pros correctly and to your full advantage. I know we as salespeople are out closing deals, and you know what? All of a sudden, you're used to doing a terminal. You fill out the paperwork, you get it submitted today. Now the customer says, maybe I want something that's a little more robust. Or you say to them, geez, are you ready to upgrade and have more features? So now you need to know, how much is the POS? What comes with it? How does it work? We're not that simple, and we're purposely not that simple. We probably are at 10 or 11 systems now that we're using, and Nate's going to highlight a real cool one as a preview to what he has to share. I'll tell you that. But Take your time, submit the lead at poslead.com. The POS team continues to staff up so they can handle all of the PayPro leads that they get more more easily and thoroughly. Right here, all we're asking for is your information as a sales partner, the contact information for the merchant. Please understand they will not contact your merchant without your permission. And then the last section is a little section of notes. What does that merchant sell? What are their pain points? What's something you want that team to know? And I've seen the team return the call the same day, if not first thing the next day. And you're now in the loop. They're going to say, you know what, after speaking to you, Mike, I think we should recommend Retail Cloud because of XYZ. Here are 4 times I can see on the Retail Cloud calendar where we can do a demo. Please let me know and we'll get that going right away. And Retail Cloud typically has appointments available later that day or the next day. They operate in the West Coast, so for you East Coast folks, there are evening appointments available. Just follow them and let them lead you, and I promise it works out in the end. We're talking about 4 to 6 weeks to set up an entire system for this restaurant or store to operate their entire business with. This isn't something we want to rush. So anyway, be patient, submit the lead, wait for their call, go from there. It's great stuff, I promise.
It is a great stuff, and that's a really good tip. Set the expectation and know the expectation. Working with a POS is different than just being able to ship the next day and having a pay anywhere show up. And that's because we want them to use a system that's going to run their whole business, and that is the way to use the POS Pros team. And now it's time for our tool of the week from the mypayprotect.com and the team of PayProtect. Jenny Rickle, what is our tool of the week?
Hey, tool of the week, I want to talk about branding. All right, so let's go take a look at myppt.com, mypayprotect.com. And from the homepage on the right-hand side, there is a link that says Go Brand Yourself. So if you select on that, you'll get some information. Now, what is branding yourself? This will provide the ability for you to put your brand on everything. So what the merchant sees is your sales office information on our statements, on our application, on the websites. That is all you. Then we are in the background still as PayProtect doing what we do, helping with equipment options. You still have access to the POS Pros. Everything is still PayProtect in the background, but on the front end, everything's going to be you, your brand, your reputation. This gives you the opportunity to really solidify and be in control of your reputation. When people see your application, they're not going to go see all the different processors are going to you, all about you. So it's just such a great opportunity to brand yourself. If you want to know more, go check out the link on the website. It's a great tool to utilize if you're interested.
And it's just a great way to build your company. Brian Linke always says that, hey, this is the cheapest way to start a business. Do it on the back end and just change the name on the front end. And it's a great way. It's something you should really think about. And we're seeing more and more of our partners doing that. But now we've had our tip, we've had our tool. It's time for our solution of the week, where we make things just a little bit easier, a little bit smoother. And this week, I'm going to bring you the solution of the week. I'm going to call it, not going to call it, it is Quick POS, and specifically their kiosk. And so I'm going to kind of zoom in, but they have several different types. They have a tabletop kiosk and they have a full standing kiosk. And often we're seeing this more and more. I mean, I was in I'm going to be honest, I use Instacart for everything to be delivered to my house for the most of my life. But last night, I had 30 minutes in between. I was waiting for my son to finish his youngest son to swim practice. I walked into Kroger, and they had the self-order. And then I noticed, I hadn't seen this before, now they have kiosks at their, and I don't know if this is all Kroger's, but the Kroger I was at, to be able to order food just like you would at like a Sheetz gas station or these fancy restaurants or at McDonald's, where you're just ordering all the thing and just, hey, I'm your order number 611. Here's your food. Here is everything. And you do it all through a kiosk. And you spend the money on the upfront on the kiosk, a couple $1,000s. We'll talk about that in a second. But you're saving a lot of being able to have that upfront and change that customer experience, especially in quick service restaurants. And we're even I have seen a food truck with a kiosk on the side, so you can just go up and order it, and then they yell out your name. We can do that, and Quick POS does that. They do it really, really well. It can tie into all the rest that Quick POS has to have, so you don't have to walk away when someone says, hey, can I have a kiosk? And when we talked about working with the POS Pros team, remember, when they can do $20,000 of volume for every 20,000 and they're doing 3.5% or higher pricing, that means they're eligible for $1,500 of credit. We can do it for a pretty low price. In fact, $1,500 pays for the smaller stations. You want the big, tall ones. Those are a couple $1,000s. I don't remember the exact prices, but the kiosks are there. It's awesome. And it's just, you should be using it. Absolutely. Now it's time for this week's final word, where Mike Stetzel is going to tell us and inspire us how to be the best professional in payments. Mr. Mike Stetzel, it's all you. You're muted, Mike. Guest has muted themselves. There we go. Let's do that again. We're going to do a second. The words of Mr. Mike Stetzel. It's time for the final word with Mr. Mike Stetzel. Mike Stetzel, what brings you the final word for this first day of fall 2023? It's all you, Mike.
Thankfully, the dog stopped barking. Those are the words. But persistence is the word for today. I talk to a lot of people. I spend a lot of time talking to newer folks in the payments field and plenty of veterans as well. But my role as a trainer brings a lot of new people to my doorstep, and they call back and ask questions and inquire and are sad or worried or upset and mad. One thing that is true is I think this business requires persistence and consistency. So if you say, I'm going to go out and do this 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, you have to do it. I don't care if you say you can do it 3 hours or 8 hours. You have to do it. I find that people hit and miss. Well, did you go out yesterday? Now, the difference is our salespeople don't work for us. So I'm not anybody's boss. So I can literally just make suggestions and say, you know what, if you go out and talk to people 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then you make your list for next week and you've got some new calls, you've got some follow-ups, you can't help but sign a deal in there somewhere. But I think we lose sight and we get frustrated and say, well, I've talked to a lot of car repair places this week and it didn't work out. No, you don't know that yet. Don't switch gears altogether now if that was your plan to attack. So be consistent and be insistent to yourself to say, I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to do what I say every week. Better yet, say, I'm going to go talk to 30 people today, or I'm going to get 30 no's today. Because what if you get 5 yeses in the meantime? What happens then? That's good stuff. So anyway, if you ever want to chat about that thought process, let me know. I'm glad to help you. I'm glad to be your accountability person. Just let me know. Appreciate you all.
All right. That's been another episode of Office Hours. On behalf of Jenny Rickle, Mike Stetzel, I'm Nate Manahan, and we're very thankful. Thank you. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Shameless.